Peace. Peace to the family. What's going on, y'all? Let me adjust this. Move this up a little bit. Back up a little bit. Yeah. What's going on, family? Can everybody hear me? Let me put these headphones in. Shout out to y'all, man. Hope everyone had a great weekend or is having a great weekend. Peace, power, and prosperity to you while I put this in. If you're in the chat while I setting this up, peace, Katrina Sanders, peace, Queen, peace to all y'all, man, peace, Addie, peace to y'all. Okay, some new people I haven't seen in the chat. All right, shout out to y'all. It's great to have you here. Great to have you here. Again, hopefully, if you're coming in, please hit that like button. Helps the algorithm, helps this message get out to more people, and hopefully, we can enlighten people in the process. You know, me and the ancestors, and with the help of y'all in the chat. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to I see the lights going out. Shout out to y'all. Come in the building. Please. Yeah, I know. They deleted the last video. I know it sucks. I'm gonna do something different with the streams like that, because sometimes I'll see something right, like I did with the Avengers video and a lot of my other videos, where I am deciphering and decoding and deep diving into a particular subject matter. A lot of times I'm just inspired. I'll get the inspiration, the spirit will hit me, and the ancestors like, yo, do a video on this subject or drop something, give this to the people. So when I put these things out, so now I'm getting used to YouTube. I'm trying to be better. In the last video, I thought I was pretty good. I didn't play not even 5 seconds worth of music. I tried to keep it. All I played was the intro, and I tried to keep it just to the visuals, but they still took it down. So for the decodes, I'm gonna have to get more creative. It's not gonna stop me. I'm just gonna have to start using slides moving forward. So just chopping things up and moving slides. Peace, Ernestine. Peace to everybody coming into the chat, man. Peace to everybody coming into the chat. Peace to the chat family. Welcome. Great to see y'all. So yeah, I have the Patreon. Shout out to the people that have signed up to the Patreon. I'm sorry, I know last month I didn't really update it. This month, because of this, I'm forcing myself. So Monday, I'll be deep diving in Patreon. If you are skilled at using Patreon and know how to upload video and how to basically, utilize the tools in Patreon, you can email me, uh, blackstormrob@gmail. Blackstormrob@gmail. I do need help. I do need assistance. So if you could, take some time out of your day, I would appreciate it, and it'll help me to bring these live streams, bring these decipherings, brings these codes. Oh, peace, Karama. How you doing? Hey, love. All right, peace. Good evening. And it'll help me to be able to bring these things to y'all, on the Patreon site, so that this way I don't have to deal with, these, like, if you got my uncut gems decode, great decode, people loved it, and no problems, no problems. So with YouTube, the way they're cracking down, and deleting channels and all these different things, we have to get creative. So henceforth, I will be getting creative as well. So into the subject matter, what I want to talk about today is, as I stated, I want to talk about the full moon coming up tomorrow. In the East Coast, it is around 3:58 from what I saw, or around 3 p.m. Eastern time. It might be off. You can Google that for yourself. But around that time, between 3 and 4 Eastern time, is when the full moon will hit. The sun is in Leo. As we all know, we're in Leo season. So this is the first full moon of Leo season, and the full moon will be in Aquarius, the water bearer. All right. So what does this mean for what does this mean for us? What does this mean for you personally? How can you maximize this energy that is coming into the environment? Well, we all know what 2020 has been. We all see the craziness that has gone on. We all see how, put this up a little bit. We all see how, oh, that was crazy, sorry. We all see how 2020 has been a very, very disruptive year. How things have torn topsy-turvy, how we are living in the upside down, and things that we may have thought was real are no longer real. The celebrities that we were following, that we thought knew it all and had it all, we're seeing that they don't know it all and they don't have it all. The coronavirus is exposing people one by one, piece by piece, little by little. And part of this energy that we're coming into, this full moon, that will be in the sun of Leo and in Aquarius, is going to be a very potent full moon. One reason is that Leo is a sign that's ruled by fire. So Leo is all about fire, action, aggression, a display, a show of power, shows of greatness, attention. Leo's about shining, right? Kingship, royalty, royalty, being regal in areas that they are. Another aspect, but the negative aspects of Leos are stubbornness, right? Rigidity, unable to move, being too showy, right? Being wanting to impress others. Those are aspects of Leo. Leo is also ruled by Jupiter, just a planet of expansion. So this expansion we're seeing even in the media, right? We're seeing things change, things shift, things move. So we are expanding. We are going from 4D into the 5D, fifth dimension. And if you are in tune with the vibration, with the frequency of what's going on, you could even feel it organically, not just feel it from metaphysical woo-woo sense, but you could feel it in your soul, how things are changing, how things are moving. So that's the energy that we are in right now, that Leo energy, that expansive energy. Also, things in your life may be expanding or forcing you to expand, forcing you to change, forcing you to shift, forcing you to upgrade, because everything starts off through frequency. And as I always say, frequency is what you do frequently. So the frequency that you are engaged in this season, especially this Leo season, is very important. And the frequency that you put forth during this full moon, doing whatever ritual you decide to do, it should be to help you expand. Jupiter is also about luck. Jupiter is also about abundance. But expansion could be expansion into more negativity, depending on your frequency, depending on how you vibrate. There's positive and negatives to each sign. There's a yin and a yang, just like there's a male and a female, just like there's a sunshine and a rain. And, I can go into Rob Bass, joy and pain, right? Those things. But there is balance in life and balance in everything. And your job as a god here on earth is to find meaning and find ways to vibrate depending on the wave or the frequency that is already here. Shout out to everybody coming into the chat. Please hit that like button if you are here. Please subscribe. Please share if you can. So now now the full moon that we're coming into tomorrow is going to be in Aquarius. Aquarius is a sign that Aquarius is the water bearer. So Aquarius is ruled by the element air, not water. But water and air are complementary. When you're boiling water, what do you see? You see steam, and then it evaporates. You don't see anything. So steam is a form of air. If you watch the movie Dr. Sleep, what they talk about is the movie Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. I told you there's a couple videos, definitely something that you want to watch. The black girl is named Abra in the movie, and she's the main character. And Dr. Sleep is not only about pedophilia, all right? It's very heavy how emotions can be siphoned through you, and how emotions are similar to how when a kettle boils. Now, you are that kettle. Believe it or not, you are that kettle. You are a cup. Your body holds over 75% water. So you are that cup. You are yourself a water bearer. You are your cup. The one key thing about Aquarius, even though it is an air sign, and as I just explained, air and water are complementary, but when we're dealing with water bearing, or we're dealing with the Aquarius energy, Aquarius energy, it has to do with the planet that is ruled by is Mercury. So we all know Mercury retrograde, right? Everybody knows Mercury retrograde now, how it deals with communication and travel and technology, right? But Mercury is primarily deals with communication. So you may be having a lot of arguments nowadays because Leo, at its core, is a very selfish energy, right? Leo is about themselves and displaying themselves. Doesn't mean that they can't be great people and they're not people that share and things like that. Again, there's enlightened forms of Leo and unenlightened people that are Leos, right? But Leo is essentially a do for self, stand strong in yourself, shine for yourself energy, and also family. And they want those that are around them to shine as well. But if they could shine, if they could outshine their friends, they're going to go for that, right? So Leo is that type of energy that is out there. So that's a selfish energy and a fiery energy. But now when we're dealing with Aquarius, we're dealing with air. So we're dealing with an airy energy, and we're dealing with water or bearing water. And water is something that is universal. It's something that is in all of us. It's something, the planet itself is made up of over 99% of the waters, the oceans, believe it or not, is unexplored. You could Google this. Over 99% of the oceans that we live on the land, but 99% of the ocean is totally unexplored. So when we're talking about water, oh, peace, Reese, how you doing? I see you. When we're talking about water, when we're talking about water, we're talking about, or an Aquarius is this type of sign that is like a Harriet Tubman, that is quiet, logical. What Aquarius is, they're not going to reveal a lot of emotions unless they want to, because they are cupbearers. But they are very aware of what's going on around them emotionally, and they can be easily affected by what's going on around them emotionally. So the key to this particular new moon is how you can entangle, how you can entangle that Leo, your selfish pride or the power of yourself or the strength in yourself, and how you could marry that into how you are going to spill or bear your cup onto the planet, but not bearing it from a display that is showy or a display that is arrogant or a display that is narcissistic, but a display that is going to help each and every person, or not each and every person, because you can't save everyone, but how you're going to affect the planet, whether that be your family, whether that be your soul tribe, whether that be you just trying to raise the frequency and the vibration here on Earth. So your rituals should be focused on how you're going to shine, basically, how you're going to logically display your goal, your glow, whether that be you creating new art, whether that's you creating new technology, whether that's you creating new business, whether that's you creating whatever it is that your purpose and your passion is. Those are the things that you want to focus on, and those are the things that you want to do your rituals for. As I always talk about, meditation is always key. This is something, if you're not doing it on a day-to-day basis, you should try to start. If you can't meditate, you should try to sit down in silence, go in nature and sit down in silence, and start to get into the things, get into yourself, and get into the things that you want to display, the things that you want to put on the planet, the things that make you feel good, the thing that makes your inner lion roar. How do you find that out? And basically what we're dealing with this Leo and bearing water or bearing emotion, you want to see how that applies, how your passion, your Leo, is going to be logically executed. So this is not the time just to be doing a random money spell for money. This is not the time to be doing a random love spell just because. This is not the time to be doing spells just for frivolous shit, for lack of a better word, for mundane things. And wait, let me not even say that, because you can do this work for mundane things, but the way you execute, your mentality has to be is, okay, this is what I want. I want this money, or I want this house, this car, this lover, this thing, right? but it is how are you going to get this thing based on how you display yourself, based on the energy you put forth. How are you going to logically, meaning that you have to have a plan in place. You have to erect a plan. And that's the one thing that a lot of us, especially in the black community, are not doing. We have become so reactionary that it's almost like a Aquarius in a reverse. It's like they bear the water and we feel the effects of the emotions of everything else that happens to us. All it takes is on Monday for some other black person to get shot on TV, and the whole energy is going to shift because we have become reactionary. But how have we become proactive? Are the families of these people that are getting shot in police violence, have any of the men stepped up and took some real revenge like they would if a black person killed them? Because we know if a black person kills somebody, black people are going to try to take out the mama, the daddy, the grandma, the auntie, all of that, right? It's a big deal. But for some reason, when a cop kills us, or when a cop kills somebody in their family, they wait. And also, one key thing I want to tell y'all, when y'all are all stressed out about these black people getting killed in police brutality. Now, I also am a person who feels these things. I used to, when Trayvon Martin first died, it was very emotional for me. When I heard the verdict, I could still remember how I felt in my heart, like the sinking, the feeling of sinking, the feeling of almost like a feeling of defeat, the pain that happened. And I promised myself that I wouldn't feel that way again, and I wouldn't immerse myself in that type of feeling again, especially when I saw that the father wasn't really doing anything, the mother wasn't really doing anything, the family members weren't really doing anything. And I know it says a Mason, I've seen that out there, blah, blah, blah. But everybody that gets shot from the police ain't Masons, right? Michael Brown, Eric Garner, all these other people, Breonna Taylor, they're not all Masons. So miss me with that, okay? With that logic. But the one thing that do all have in common, and this is what I want you to keep in mind, they all get paid at least 1.5 million. So they become millionaires. Now, whatever they pay the lawyer and all that, that's not for me to know or even care to look into. But at least 1.5 million. And don't believe me, go through Google and go through these names, and you'll see. Eric Garner's family got paid. Kareem Gaines' family got paid. Trayvon Martin's family got paid. They are all getting paid. So this is a lot of the reasons why you see them not taking any action, because they know and they are told that a check is coming. Once Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton go there, they tell them to chill. They tell them to make sure people are quiet, right? Try to keep things down. Don't cause too much of a stir so you could get that paycheck and you could sue the city. And that's what happens. So if somebody gets shot tomorrow and it's on TV, again, look at it, feel for it, want justice. This is an Aquarius way of looking at it. Be logical. You're going to feel the emotions, but how you display and how you feel like you're going to affect this, remember, all problems aren't your personal problem. And yes, we're all out, but there's black people right in front of my building who would kill me with no regard and sit there by my body and take a selfie with a smile. It is what it is. They're black just like me, but that doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit. So we have to get out of this tribalism as well. We have to get out of tribalism, and we have to, or not even get out of the tribalism, but get out of groupthink. You can have your tribes, but these should be tribes that you yourself choose. And that's the Leo principle, where you're stepping out on your own dignity and you're moving on your own path, which is Leo principles. Also, that's also Aquarius, where you are taking emotions, right? But you're logical about how you output, right? You're logical. Air, Aquarius is an air sign, but if you look at the air and the tarot is the swords. Air and tarot is the swords, right? So you don't just swing your sword randomly, right? You swing your sword when there's time for beef, when there's time for war, right? So when you communicate, that is considered your sword. The Wu-Tang called their lyrics their blades, right? Swinging blades, throwing blades. Essence of communication, Mercury. So what are you communicating to the world on a day-to-day basis? This is what you want to look at during this new moon. This is what you want to look at tonight. What are you communicating to the world? What are you telling yourself about yourself? We have to remember we're dealing in the occult and we're dealing with high-level spirituality. So we're always looking deep into our subconscious mind. In this path, it is not about, and I always say this, it's not about being a follower. This path is more like looking at a mirror, which is why mirrors are so powerful in the occult, and mirror magic is so powerful, because we're always looking at back at ourselves to figure out how to raise ourselves. Right now, you could. This doesn't mean you're not going to learn from other people. This doesn't mean that you're not going to listen to other people. This doesn't mean that other people cannot influence you. I'm not saying anything that. But what I'm saying is the buck stops here. What anybody tells me, the buck stops here. And if I feel like it's a little questionable, right, I'll go back and look at it. There's sometimes I'll listen to a speaker and the speaker is saying something crazy, and I'll look up what they're saying. I'm like, oh, this shit is not even accurate, but it sounds amazing. You know, it sounds like the best thing on earth, but it really has nothing to do with anything. So this season is all about you displaying your fire, but you also putting that fire out into the air, putting that fire out into, spreading that fire out into the environment through your individual creation, through your lion, through your creation, through what you have built and what you have built. Now, a lot of people are going through things, different ups and downs. Things, again, are breaking apart. You may be arguing. You may be going through breakups. You may be going through things that are quite intolerable. This is the time where you have to dig into your bag and create. Aquarius is also a solitary sign. Aquarius is a type of people that don't mind being by themselves. If they are into this type of work, this occult work, they're the ones that are deep diving into the books, that are doing deep researches, that are following people, but not taking their word for it, going back and researching it, so that when they do spill that water, the enlightened Aquarius, when they are spilling that water, that they are spilling water that will be beneficial to other people. So you want to make sure that when you are spilling your water, when you are bearing from your cup, when you are putting out your communication, when you are swinging your sword, that your sword is about, that your sword is about either cutting through obstacles, right? Or using your sword to cut and create a foundation. You can use a sword to cut and kill, or you can use a sword to cut and create. So, with that said, we want to make sure that we are focused on transformation at all times. Full moons are always a good time for transformation. They're always a good time for change. Now, let's get into a little bit of Black is King. Now, obviously, I can't play the video. We all see what happened when I did that. But I just want to talk about the visuals real brief. I have things on my Instagram. You can check out my Instagram, the mini decode. And there's a lot of things right now about Hathor and Het Heru and all that. I'm not going to go into those details or those minutiae. What I want to talk about is what it was about and the core of it. And the core of Black is King is about the resurrection of the black male. There is a video Beyonce dropped for already, which is what I was decoding. But in that video for already, you see Beyonce in black and white. Now, whatever you feel about her, Illuminati and all that shit, I don't particularly care. All I care about is the truth. And all I care about is the execution of the truth. And from what I've seen in that video, is an appreciation of Africa. And if you don't understand the symbolism, it's just something you don't understand. You need to research, right? Okay, she's wearing I see cow things. Okay, what is a cow? Spiritual meaning of a cow. And then start deep diving, right? Aquarius shit, right? Start deep diving, start looking into the cup, right? But also that Leo is about being an independent, not being a follower. So if you'll see all these other people telling you it's witchcraft and the Illuminati, you have to ask yourself why. You can't just be a blind follower nowadays. So this is about the transformation of black men. This is about black men being propelled by a black woman that is transforming. The whole science of Hathor, or what the Cometians call Het Heru. So Hathor, Het Heru is also Oshun, which is why Beyonce her avatar, she has the beehive, right? That is her avatar. She's a bee, which is also Oshun. But there's different levels. There's different deities that mean the same thing. So Oshun, Het Heru, Hathor is the same thing. So you could also say Oshun is a cow, right? Just different representations of the same energy, right? I could say the rain. I could say, um, I could, if I'm let's see, if I'm talking about water, I could talk about rivers. I could talk about an ocean. I could talk about a stream. I could talk about a puddle, or I could talk about a cup of water. Different expressions of the same thing, of the same energy. So when we're talking about black is king, we're talking about dark matter. We're talking about dark energy. We're not talking about your skin being black. Remember in the film, if you've watched the film, or even if you just seen the trailer, or you just seen the cover of the film, it is a black boy coming from outer space, right? And through And we know that our ancestors have taught us, the Dogon, which got their knowledge from the ancient Cometians, that we come from the star system Sirius, which is next to Orion's belt. Which, if you go back into the movie Men in Black, where they always talking about finding Orion's belt, they're talking about finding Sirius. So, according to the Dogon myth, man descended from Sirius as fish called the Nomo, and through coming into the ocean, they grew and developed into man. And as I've said before, the first man would be called the Twa people, or what they call pygmies. Those were the first people. And over time, as they ate and as they grew into these avatar bodies and developed these avatar bodies, and started eating certain ways and getting downloads from the divine on how to become bigger and stronger and more powerful, so they could become more malleable with the environment. They now have, now you see the men that you have now, the men and the women that you have now, based on that evolutionary growth. So they've already told us where we come from. So that is what that visual represents, us coming from that star system. So what does that mean for black men? This means that black men overall, and again, I'm gonna make some of y'all mad. Some of y'all gonna call me a simp. That's all right. I'll take it. I don't mind being called a simp. It's the same thing as when black women talk about black men. You know what I'm saying? When they talk about black men, they're called, when they praise black men, I should say, or give black men their props, women are called pygmies. It's the same thing when black men praise black women and give them their props, they're called simps. It's okay. But you have to realize this is coming from hurt people, right? So you can't really take, I mean, me personally, I don't really take that simp shit seriously, you know, because I'm always going to praise the black woman as long as I'm alive. Because every time I've been in some situations, there's always been black women that have been there for me, and not just sexual. There've always been black women that have been there for me. So I have an utmost respect for black women. But men need to start getting into the spiritual science. Black men more often than not. Right now, due to slavery and due to the colonialism of slavery, we have not done that. We have not done that. And you have to understand, when Malcolm got shot and Martin gets shot and Huey and all, and you know, the Black Panther Party gets dismantled, Medgar Evers gets shot, you know, and all these people, these black men get tortured and ripped apart when, you know, they tied two horses, you know, and tied a man's arms and ripped the man apart in front of the family. This has affected black society as a whole, not just black men, but black women, because now you don't have your protector, you don't have your natural protector with you. So you have to do it on your own. So now the black woman has to become the man and the woman. And that, and how the environment changes your DNA based on the environmental that affect your cells and or unlock certain DNA. There's some DNA that you have in you that is at rest. That's why it's called enlightenment, so that you could open up that DNA, right? But um, when you are transforming, when you are becoming enlightened, The source of that enlightenment is dark energy and dark matter. That is what the Gnostic calls Sophia. And Sophia represents wisdom. And that wisdom comes from the womb. We all come from a woman's womb, right? And we all think from what? The womb of our mind. The unconscious, the subconscious is the womb of your mind. So with this womb of your mind, you are able to tap into your inner mama. And your mama is them stars. This is why they call celebrities stars. So instead of you focusing on astrology, instead of you being tapped into the natural star systems so that you know what's going on, so that you're able to forecast events, so that you're able to ride these waves and see how you could best maximize the electromagnetic energy that is coming from these planetary bodies when they are aligned in full moons and solstices and equinoxes and stuff like that. And instead of focusing on what our ancestors focused on, which is the star systems, this is why the pyramids were mathematically accurate. I don't know why somebody called me. This is why the pyramids were mathematically accurate, because they're aligned to star systems, they're aligned to solstices, they're aligned to equinoxes, because they knew the importance of gathering energy, of harnessing energies, because of the electromagnetic frequency around these planets and how the electromagnetic frequency of the planets affects the electromagnetic frequency of your body. It's something I always talk about, which generates from your heart chakra, which is your inner Heru or your inner hero. That's why you have what they call the hero's journey, and you also have the dark night of the soul, right? Where that inner sun is not as lit as possible. You're going through the dark night of the soul. You're trying to change. You're trying to transform. You're trying to become better. So black men need to tap into that inner mama. We need to tap into that inner Sophia. More of us need to tap into that inner Sophia, because guess what? Women are out here doing the work. Not all y'all. I'm not saying all y'all are doing the work. I'm not saying every woman is on point, but overall, women are doing the work. Women are the ones really leading a lot of these charges. Even if you look at these marches, you see a lot more women than men. And I'm not encouraging men to go and march or anything like that. I'm just pointing out the facts. You're seeing a lot more women than men. You see Bree Newsom. She's the one who took the flag off, took the Confederate flag down from Charleston and got arrested. You know, you see the Black Lives Matter, whatever. However you, again, this is not about the form, right? This is not about this is not about the function of Black Lives Matter, the organization. I'm just showing you it was started by women, right? It was started by women. Now, whether that cause is co-opted or created, you could debate that all you want, right? But it was started by women. That's the facts, okay? And a lot of these transformational things that are happening, if you look at it and really deep dive, you don't see black men at the head of it. It's really black women. And the reason being is, as we go into this fifth dimension, as we're going into this Aquarian energy, we're going into we're going into the era of tapping into the black woman, or tapping into the black Madonna, just like the Pope does when the Pope is kissing the black Madonna. The reason, look at it this way, right? Call me a simp. Look at it this way. Emmett Till was killed for whistling at a white woman. This is how strong white men are, how you could say fragile in some cases, but in this case you can't say fragile. But this is how strong white men feel about protecting their women. They killed Emmett Till strictly, and you could say racism and all that, and that's part of it, but it's also them feeling overprotective about their women. Rosewood was destroyed based on the accusation of a black boy touching a white woman. Black Wall Street, same thing, right? Now, behind that was all jealousy and all that. I get all that again, but I'm talking about the main reason used was that they were meddling, quote unquote, with white women. But, and I see this all the time living in New York. And if you're coming in, thank you for coming in, but please hit that like button. Please share, please subscribe. Thank you. But but lost my thought. They were messing with white women. I know that's where I was. But when you see black men, when they deal with their women, what do you see overwhelmingly? Bitches ain't shit, right? Fuck that bitch. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that hoe. You know what I'm saying? Disrespect, stealing the purse, using her. And the next generation is even getting to the point now, this generation is these millennial generations where they're colder and colder to women. They care less and less. Women, or younger women, are even dating less and less because we have become emotionalists at this point, from being numbed down over and over and over and over about with this type of perspective as men on how we should treat women, and being called simps for appreciating and treating women right. Now, on the flip side to that, because there's always a yin and yang, on the flip side to that, women have to also tap into their inner Sophia as well. They have to tap into their inner subconscious mind as well. They have to tap into their inner dark matter as well. Because a lot of women will get a man that is good, that is decent, that is right, and totally destroy him, right? Totally destroy him. And that fucks it up for everyone else. Fucks it up for everyone else. A lot of men, and this is not through fault of the women alone, but a lot of men are still operating off hurt from high school, off hurt from junior high. Real talk. Still operating off that type of hurt. And I can tell you this personally, if I didn't work on transmuting my past or my dealings with women, I would be operating the same way. If I wasn't into spiritual culture, I would be operating the same way, just like the rest of these idiots out here. So we have to learn to, on both sides, to tap in so that we could be the best for each other. It's really not just about men, it's about women also, because this new culture is all about take. How can I extract money from a man? How can I extract resources from a man? How can I use a man up, right? What do you think that does once a man gets used up, once a man gets played, and he goes back out into the ecosystem to deal with other women? So it's really both sides. But the one thing I will say is overwhelmingly, more women are doing their spiritual work. More women are tapping in and actually going to the classes, are actually taking the courses, are actually doing the studies, actual studies, not just lip professing, not just reciting some shit that they read, but are actually going in, deep diving, and becoming better and elevating and changing and transforming and transmuting. And what they want is a king that's doing the same thing. They want to find a king that is on that same wavelength. Because when a woman finds a king, or a woman finds a god, she finds a treasure, and vice versa. But the thing about us men, what we don't realize, and what Black is King is trying to express to you, is that we're not gonna transmute these situations that we're under. We're not going to stop getting black men. We're not going to stop getting shot on TV. We're not going to stop being oppressed, stop getting denied jobs. We're not going to stop getting thrown in jail until we honor our women the way other cultures honor their women. And it's only because we have gone through slavery, and we have gone through that conditioning, Jim Crow, and over time, and seeing men just get chopped up, that we have given up in some ways. We have given up in trying to be solid, create solid families, create solid family structures, to use, family, when it comes to wealth, family is supposed to be used as a vehicle to build wealth. Families, that's initially what marriage was for. When you go back and watch Game of Thrones, or you watch any movie or period piece, what you see in those movies and those period pieces are people that are actually doing business, right? They marry for empire. That was the whole science of, you watch Game of Thrones, Daenerys and her brother in the first season. He wanted he wanted her to marry the forgot who he was, what his name was, but he wanted to marry her for the sake of building empire. He didn't give a shit about her. He just wanted to get in so that he could build empire, because he would have become part of the family. And that's what it was initially about family and family business and family growing, which is what these secret societies that y'all talk about all the time and y'all are so scared of and think they're so demonic and so above y'all. This is what they have continued, that tradition where they are still keeping together as family. And you can't just marry a Rothschild. You know what I'm saying? It's not just going to happen. That's not going to happen. There's a thorough vetting process because they understand that family is empire. So while men are here talking about, and even women, men and women talking about men ain't shit, women ain't shit, and all this ain't shit, this coldness and all this disconnection in the black community, how are we going to win? Because who are you depending on for your wins? Are you depending on the government to give you your wins? Well, I hope not. Are you depending on laws and the legal system to give you your wins? I hope not. Do you think some one of your presidents, your masses, your massa, the new massa that y'all gonna vote for in November? Because that's all the presidents are, new masses. They're all white men, and even Obama was half white. Keep it real. Even Obama was half white, so you really never had a black president. He came out of a white womb. All right, that's significant. And again, it's not about race, but we've never had a black president. And you're in this avatar body for a reason, right? And as I've told you, some people have been, and I just want to talk about avatar bodies real quick. Some people have been black, white, Chinese, dogs, cats, birds, pigeons, cockroaches, in different lives and different reincarnation cycles. And this could take thousands and thousands of years. So the fact that you're born black in this particular time period is a privilege. But how are we honoring that privilege? Remember the movie Get Out with Jordan Peele? And when the brother was at the table and before they was about to take his body and extract his soul, what did they do? The guy came and started like poking and prodding him and looked at him. It was like, good stock. You know what I'm saying? They were prepared to use what he didn't use. They were prepared to take what he wasn't utilizing. What's happening now? Who's the primary workforce in a lot of these companies? Who's making up the call centers? Who's doing the base work? I live in New York. I see a lot of women when I'm coming back late night. You know what I'm saying? If I'm taking the train or coming back late night, there's a lot of female security guards out there. Black. Now, what the fuck is a black woman doing security? You don't see white women doing security? You don't see white women. You barely ever see white women just doing security. And if she is doing it, she's probably old and retired, and she know ain't really nothing happening, right? But there's a lot of black women out there doing security. We need to step up as men. We need to step up and start creating vehicles, start creating businesses, start creating things that are going to propel us forward. We need to start startups. We need to start some sort of startups, right? We need to say, okay, this person's a great writer, this person's a great accountant, this person's a great graphic designer, this person's a great whatever. Come together and create business. This is how everybody else but us does it. You know why? Because we are still hating each other. We are still taught to hate each other. We are still taught to divide each other. We're still caught up in our pain. We're still caught up in our trauma. We're still dealing with epigenetic memory of failure through slavery. And that's really just the facts. And these are the things that we have to start working on, especially during this full moon. These are the type of images that you want to hold, not even for yourself, but for the world. For what? For the community. Also for the community and for the world. Because if black people start coming up, you start coming up. If black people get justice, you get justice. If black people get the right of way, you get the right of way. And this is the year that it can happen. This is the year that it's supposed to. But it's up to the collective conscious. This is what this is what Black is King was about. And this is about us as men finding these women that have these spiritual resources, aligning with the building business, creating community, creating infrastructures that we could use for the future, that we could have our children come into, and they don't have to worry about working in a Walmart. If Nick Cannon goes through something, he doesn't have to worry about coming back and not having to kiss these Jews' ass and worship their religion. Like I saw him doing Instagram the other day, talking about he was taking some Jewish shit, right? Practicing some Jewish holiday, which is crazy to me. But I digress, right? But he's trying to protect his dollars. He's trying to protect his money. Where does his money come from? How does he feed his family? How does he feed the people that he had? Right? And you could say, oh, he could create his own independent vehicle. But what TV stations do we have? Don't say Revolt, because that's owned by somebody. Don't say TV1, because that's owned by white people. Okay. So, and even TV1 is on a white cable channels. So what really do we have? What really are we building? It's great to feel like you are proud because Black is King. It's great from an emotional standpoint. Yeah, Black is King. I have melanin. Blah blah blah. This is excellent. Yeah, I'm beautiful. I'm Black. That's all great for emotion. But your kids can't eat that. You know what I'm saying? You can know all the history, every date in the world, but your kids can't eat that when it comes down to it. When your kids are hungry, history is whack. They don't want to hear about Mansa Musa when there's 2 slices of bread in the fridge and dinner is in an hour. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear about Constantine. They want to hear how are you going to take care of the family. So Black is King, and the way we can turn this around is for Black men to start really sincerely deep diving into these sciences and start changing and transforming our characters to one of men of nobility. Men of nobility, you know what they're doing when they're around women? They open doors. You know what men of nobility do when they're around women? They pull chairs. You know what men of nobility do when they take a woman out? They pay the motherfucking bill. That's right, they pay the bill. They pay the bill. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all think that that's simping. But if you can't afford to do that, you cannot call yourself king. Do not step out with a woman if you can't afford to pay for the date. Take time, king, to develop yourself into a king so that you could effectively date. And if you take a hit of $100, $200 during the date, it ain't that big of a deal for you. But if you feel that this woman is worth it and you can see yourself developing with this woman, then why wouldn't you invest in her? You invest in the stock market for a return, right? So why wouldn't you invest in this woman for a return? She's going to be better for you than the stock market. And she might cook your food, she might iron your clothes, and she's going to be able to see things that you won't see. Because women have what they call female intuition. And women are the womb. They are the source of spirituality if they are in tune. Of enlightenment if they are in tune. And God damn it, you came from a womb. You came out of a vagina. You came out of a yoni. We all did. So if that's not enough to honor them, then there is no other purpose. So what you have to do is figure out men that have watched Black is King, or women that have watched Black is King. Because what's going to happen is going to eventually go to a point, and I'm seeing this more and more, where women are going to start closing up shop. Black women are going to start closing up that yoni to y'all. And it's going to be just savages mingling with savages. And the men that are not in tune, the men that are fronting, the men that are talking shit, right? The men that aren't serious are just going to be left with the bottom feeders. They're going to be left with the fronts. And you're seeing that more and more nowadays. And another thing, watch these men that y'all are following on these channels, on these frequencies. Really look at their characters. And again, the way you understand a man, not a woman, but a man in particular, because the people that are doing scams in the conscious community, in these spiritual communities, by and large, are men. That's a fact. By and large, they're men. And I'm a man, so I can say it. By and large, the ones that are scamming y'all the most are men. You don't see the women that are dealing with spirituality or spiritual leaders. How often do you hear about a scam with them? And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. There are those out there that are doing the same shit. But overwhelmingly, it's men. So the way you decipher this is this. You, A, and this is both sides too, honestly, male and female. But A, how are they talking about the opposite sex? How is your spiritual teacher talking about men? How is your spiritual teacher talking about women? That's what you need to look at. How is your spiritual teacher talking about men? How is your spiritual teacher talking about women? If they have a divisive, put down, they can't wear weave and shit like that. Why, with all the things that are going on, why do you want to police a woman's hair? It's ridiculous. It makes no motherfucking sense. Let a woman wear what she wants to wear on her head. It's not your business, okay? But look at how they're talking about women. Look how they're talking about how they dress. Look at how they talk about how women express themselves sexually. A woman's allowed to express herself sexually however she wants. If she wants to be half naked, that's her business. That doesn't mean that she's a hoe. That doesn't mean that she's a freak. That just means that's what she. Now, as women, you have to realize that the way you dress comes with a certain responsibility, and it's going to garner a certain amount of attention. So that is your responsibility. You can't expect to be half naked out here with your cheeks hanging and not think that a man's not going to look at you from the animalistic perspective. But as men, it doesn't mean that even though you're looking at it from an animalistic perspective, that you should treat her like an animal. Big difference, right? You could look, but respect should still be garnered because this is your other half. This is the mama energy. This is the spiritual energy. This is the subconscious energy in flesh, in physical form. When you're dealing with an enlightened woman, you're getting the best of both worlds, right? And all she really wants to do, an enlightened woman, is breathe life into a man. She wants to pour her cup into a man. Really, an enlightened woman, that's what she wants. She wants to pour her cup into a man. She wants to pour her best into a man. She wants to be like Beyonce in that video. If you look in that scene, that already video where she's dancing, she's always behind the brother in black and white, dealing with yin and yang and transformation. She's always behind. And as he's dancing in front, she's dancing behind him. And that whole video is about her giving her wisdom to her man so that he can continue to move up the chakra system, up through enlightenment, and ultimately transform the world, which is what we have done and will continue to do as the time progresses, because that's what's happening. But we have to tap into the power of the divine feminine. We have to protect our women the way other cultures protect their women. It's imperative at this time. And one of the key things that she used, or the key deities that she used in Black is King, was the deity, again, Hathor, or Het Heru, which deals with primarily, which again is that Oshun energy, deals with primarily imagination. It deals with your imagination, your joy, how you visualize joy, how you visualize goodness, how you visualize happiness. It's also a deity that deals with music, also a deity that to some degree deals with vanity, right? Cosmetics, vanity. So what are you proud of about yourself? What are you vain with about yourself? Right? The things I'm vain about is my intelligence. I'm vain that I'm intelligent. I'm vain that I am a god. I'm vain that I am spiritual. I'm vain that I am a master manifester. Right? What's your vanity? Right? Is your vanity your car? A lot of people treat their cars better than their bodies. A lot of people clean their cars better than they clean their own bodies. A lot of people put better fuel in their car than they put in their bodies. A lot of people look better outside on the external, than they do on the internal. So where's your vanity? What are you vain about? Where is that Heru energy? What is the focus of your imagination? If you see Beyonce with the two horns on her head going like this, and the disc in the middle. The disc represents that third eye. The disc represents that subconscious mind, that unconscious mind, that unseen mind, that womb energy. And the two horns represents the energy, or the kundalini energy, snake-like energy, serpentine energy, coming from the left and the right brain. Coming from the left and the right brain. So that's what that cow goddess is about. And also, cows, as I said in my live that got deleted, if you look at Hathor, you'll see that there is a man suckling from the cow, taking milk from the cow. So it's also a representative of you being fed your joy, you being fed your vanity, you being fed things that things that matter, things that motivate, things that move, right? This is what a divine woman does. That's what the quote is behind every man is a good woman. Because women can see where you can't see. Women can give you advice that you didn't even have any direction on, because they are womb energy. They are receivers. They have yonis. They are receivers. They receive energy. Men project energy. Men project energy. So they are essentially, really, all women are water bearers. All women are Aquariuses, if you really want to go there. All women are cups of water, and they're ready to pour it on those who deserve it. But those who don't deserve it, they will close up that cup. That Hathor, that Heru energy that Beyonce is generating, that energy will not be for you. If you are not worthy, you will not feed from the cow. And we know in India, cows are sacred. So that's the science of that. That's where the Hindus stole that from us. Hindus stole that from us because that's one of our deities. So this is a time period with this full moon coming in where we want to reestablish and look at how we're dealing with the opposite sex as well. Again, fire and air are opposites. Air and water are complementary. Fire and earth are complementary. But fire and air are opposites. Fire being the Leo energy and air being the Aquarius energy. So you want to look at how are you dealing with opposites in your life? How are you dealing with the opposite sex? But in particular, for men, how are you tapped into women? If you it's crazy the cycle. Like, you get a woman, you do her dirty, right? And this is not to say you're not going to have disagreements. So this is not to say that I've always been perfect in relationships or all that. But there's certain things women cannot say. There's no woman that can say about me that I've hit a woman, that I've called a woman a bitch just because, that I've been physical and harmful in any way, that I haven't been a provider, right? There's certain things that they can't say, that no woman can say about Rob. And this is just something in me that I've always had, that I've wanted to not be that person. You know what I'm saying? And also things that I've seen in my childhood would make me say, I'm never going to be this type of person. And I never have. Now, have I been played by a woman? Absolutely. If you watch one of my videos, I've talked about it. When it happens and how it happens. All right? So this is not to say that I'm exempt, but the one thing I do have is discernment. And I am able to see the snakes in the grass. And that's what deep diving, and that's what going within yourself, and that's what meditating, and that's what doing these rituals. And that's when you're not doing rituals just for money, just for things that you want. But as you're doing these things that you want, you are asking for these things that you want, how you're going to develop your character, how you're going to unblock these chakras, how you're going to shine your light and raise your height higher and higher, so that as you illuminate these chakras, and again, illumination of your chakras is a day-to-day thing. It's not a one-day thing where you do something and bibbity boppity boop. The chakras are illuminated for the rest of your life. That's what you've heard, but that is a motherfucking misnomer. This is something that is a daily operation. This is something that is a daily practice. This is something that you can't rest on your laurels. You know, it's like working out, right? You work out, you get fit, you get your muscle on, right? You look good. Now, do you just stop and think that the muscles are going to stay there? No. You have to continue to work out. Once you stop working out, those muscles are gone. It starts slowly and slowly deteriorating until you become a skinny stick or a fat blob. So, so I'm saying all this to say, and in closing, that we have to start getting in tune, and especially this is a message to the men, and in particular, we have to start getting in tune. We have to start learning who we are. We have to start getting into that mama energy, deep diving into that mama energy, deep diving into the spirituality, and not use it to exploit women. If you want some ass, you could buy ass. If you want some sex, don't just get with a woman and try to manipulate and use it to get sex. If you want sex, there's sex out there. There's sex for sale. There's sex for sale. Very, 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 very easy to get, especially with the internet. All right. Don't just come out here hurting women and dogging them because of these rap lyrics. These rappers look at them now. Scared to death, panicked, don't know what to do. Going on these lives talking about nothing. Nothing. Look at these celebrities' lives. They're not talking about shit. They're not telling you how to get into the industry. They're not telling you how to fight COVID. They're not telling you how to get money. They're not telling you how to invest in stock. They're not telling you how to invest in cryptocurrency. They're not telling you about the next thing that they bought or what you should do when you're making these moves. They're not talking about nothing of significance for you. Strictly fluff. And these are the stars that they want you to focus on, rather focusing on the celestial stars. You got to realize the con game. And stop thinking that everything that you see on TV that you don't understand is demonic. You just don't understand it. Look into it. Research. This is, again, a mirror path. This is a path where you're constantly looking at the mirror at yourself. And this is a path when things fuck up or go wrong, you have to look back at yourself. It's a path of accountability. If you don't want to be accountable, if you just want to follow people, if you just want to blame the government, if you just want to blame your mom and your daddy, if you just want to blame your old boyfriends, if you just want to blame your old girlfriends, if you just want to stay bitter, if you don't want to grow like the tree out there, which grows through light and water, right? Fire and water. Leo fire. Even, I mean, look at the correspondence. Leo is a fire sign, and Aquarius. Well, Aquarius is a water bearer, but an air sign. But fire and water, right? But that's how a tree grows. Through the light of the sun, which is the fire, right? And through being watered, right? And also you could say through air, because we breathe out carbon dioxide to give to the trees. And what does a tree do? A tree forms from a seed, which is the same thing you do. A tree grows through nurturing, and then as a tree grows through nurturing, a tree what? Starts to branch off. Starts to form new branches with new leaves, which is new opportunities, new money, right? Money is green just like the leaves, right? That's why your money is green also as well, because it represents that growing of a tree. One of the things you also want to get in your home, a little bit of juju, right? As I told y'all in the Uncut Gems video, you should have some juju in your house, some magic in your house, right? One of the things you can get is a money tree. Get a money tree. Put some money in it. Money in the dirt. Put some actual dollars in the dirt. It's a money tree. So why wouldn't you put money in the money tree? And you can write all your money whatever you want. Whatever you want to manifest, whatever you want to see in the future. Right? And take care of that money tree. Also, another thing you want to get, if you want to get some juju in your home, get a fountain. So when you come into your home, you can hear that flow. And that flow of water will remind you of what your flow should be and how you should be in tune with your flow. Not the world's flow. But this is a daily operation. As I said in my other video, the devil doesn't take a day off. Neither should you. Every day you should be finding something to inspire you. Whether that's business, whether that's in romance, whether that's in relationships, or whether that's in personal development. This is what gods do. Humans, they just take whatever's out there in the environment. They just take whatever's told to them on TV, whatever's told to them in school, whatever's told to them by their friends and family, and they just run with it. That's what humans do. They just take whatever visions they see on TV, whatever vision somebody gave them at the office, and run with it and think that that's logic or what the experts said. And that's how they move. But a God is constantly scrutinizing inspiration. A God is constantly looking back at the mirror. God is constantly tapped into their own flow. God is actually tapped into their own magic. And this is how we're going to transform. But until the black man in America and across the world, true, but mainly in America, starts to honor and mate with these sisters that are enlightened, that are sincere, and that are going through enlightenment, and not abuse them, not use them, not tear them apart, but really work with them and grow with them and uplift with them, and see how you could turn family into business, or how you could turn family into higher forms of creation to leave legacy. This black man, you're going to continue to get shot on TV because you're not even tapped into the wisdom of how to defend yourself and your family, and avenge your family, because you're not tapped into your woman. Remember that scene in 600? That scene in 600, the famous scene when I forgot what the Persians came in, the black Persian came in, and I forgot his name. Is it Leonidas? Might be Leonidas. And he was and they were sitting in front of that circle. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And that big circle was there, or that big tunnel, right? That funnel. And he looked back and he was talking all that shit to him about, he has to leave and vacate, and the letters he got from the king. And he looked back at his wife, and his wife nodded, and he kicked him down that motherfucking hole and said, "This is Sparta." That's that wisdom. That's why women are known as wisdoms. That's that wisdom. That's that unconscious communication. Now, when you're a man and you're just following what men do, you're always going to be leading from a place of strength. And strength is not always the best way to handle things. Strength is sometimes you need finesse, you need wisdom, you need to know how to scrutinize these things. And this is not to necessarily say that you have to have a woman, but we are internally male and female, because we have left and right brains, we have positive and negative energy, we have a sympathetic and a parasympathetic, we have duals all throughout our bodies, right? 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 lips, 2 ears, 2 hands, 2 feet. So we are ourselves balanced. We have masculine and feminine energy, just like women have masculine and feminine energy. So it's about, ultimately, but I always preach, going through the middle path and being balanced. Not just left brain, not just into all pure darkness, pure the unseen, and not just into all that love and light and peace, right? But being in the middle and knowing how to utilize energy for your benefit. And once the black man realizes, do you know, ancient cultures, they used to have women. They were the people that were always doing the divinations. They were the people that were the witch doctors. They were the ones that were prescribing the medicines. They were the ones that were basically acting like the matriarchs, as they should. But through all things magic. Those were the sources, because of their, connection to womb energy. And goddamn it, just the ability to bring life from the star systems into this world, for the ability to incarnate into an avatar body through someone else's body. So we got to start being sincere. So, I think I didn't answer. I didn't finish. So the first thing is, you want to look at how your conscious teacher talks about the opposite sex, how they talk about men, how they talk about women. What's the first thing? How are they speaking about it? That'll tell you a lot. The second thing you want to follow is the money. All right, where's the money going? How are they handling the money? What are they doing with the money? How are they spending the money? What are they supposed to be using the money for, but what are they not using it for? And third, how is their customer service? How are they handling the people that support them? How are they handling the people that invest in them? How are they handling the products that they're supposed to have? Are the products good? Do they work? How is the packaging? Things like that. You want to look at. You want to look at reviews. You want to look at what other people say about them, so that you can get a clear understanding for yourself. Because all these people, all you got to do is read a whole bunch of books and you get knowledge. It'll take you about a year. You start reading every day, you'll get a bunch of knowledge. That doesn't mean that you have a great character. That doesn't mean that you're a good person. That doesn't mean that you have the best interest for the people that you are serving. You could just be using people as cash cows. That doesn't mean that you want the best for them. And that doesn't mean that you want even the best for yourself. So during this full moon, we want to explore these themes of pride, of what we have pride in. Do we have pride in not being simps? Do we have pride in not being pygmies? Because if black is king, then we're all royalty, right? Then we're royalty, male and female. We're royalty. If black is king, if that's the theme, if you really believe that you are this carbonated being, this highly melanated being with magical powers, black girl magic, right? Black male magic. So we got to start tapping in, and we got to start changing these things, and we got to start doing for self. Because no one's coming to, and I say this every video, no one's coming to save you. Not the president, not Trump. Trump's not saving anybody from, please stop. Trump is not saving anybody from any pedophilia. He wished Ghislaine Maxwell, he wished her well. So he's not saving anybody from pedophilia. Neither is Joe Biden. Neither is whoever else you pick that's out there. Kanye, right? These people are not coming to save you. You thinking you're going to go to these judicial systems where systematic racism is embedded in them, and you thinking that you're going to pass laws to save you, that's not going to save you. What's going to save you is creating infrastructures. What's going to save you is creating business. What is going to save you is creating organization. What's going to save you is creating manufacturing. What's going to save you is your inventions and keeping your inventions. Not selling them off, but keeping your inventions and letting them grow and developing them. Because a lot of people will say, oh, I have a black business, but then days later, you see that they sold it. You know, or a year, 2, 3 years later, once they're successful, they sold the business, right? And watch what these conscious teachers are selling you. Watch what these conscious teachers are selling you, because some of them are selling y'all some real snake oil, and y'all have no idea. And just because they are charismatic, because they have knowledge, because they speak well, you think that they have your best interests. And if you think about it, these people that you follow, where did they get their information? The same place you could get your information. Where I got my information is through studying, through learning, and through being passionate about it. You could do the same thing. And a lot of y'all millennials think y'all going to get it in a couple of months. Think y'all going to become gods and have these super magical powers in 2 or 3 months. Y'all got to put in work. And that's what the Nick Cannon story was about for y'all. It's not something you could do in 3 and 4 years and come out and start teaching because you have this book knowledge, because you've read a lot of books. That's the lesson in the Nick Cannon story. And that's the lesson for this full moon too. It's not about a display. It's not about the Leo display. It's not about spilling your cup. It's when do you spill your cup? Are you strategic with it? So it's not about, it takes time. It takes time. So be patient with yourself. You don't have to be a master tomorrow. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody, in fact, you shouldn't be seeking perfection. You should be seeking self-mastery. And self-mastery isn't perfection. Self-mastery is knowing whatever goes wrong, even if you do it or you are involved in it, that you could fix it and you can master it. We're seeking self-mastery. This is a path of man, know thyself. Not man, know this brother. Not man, know sister this. Not man, follow preacher this. Not man following priest this. Not man, follow thy guru. Man, know thyself. Any questions? I'm going to take some questions. Any questions from anyone tonight? Type it in the chat. And if you're in here, please hit that like button. If you want to donate, Cash App, $ Rob Blackstorm 7, Rob Blackstorm 7, Rob Blackstorm 7. I don't see any questions coming up. So, therefore, it's about an hour and 15 minutes. So I will close this down. But I hope this made sense. I hope this is something that will help propel the family moving forward. I hope we take this time seriously. A lot is changing. And if you're focused on the wrong thing, if you're focused on these celebrities, if you're just focused on this pedophilia, if you're just focused on the election, if you're just focused on if you're just focused on all these things outside of yourself, or by devoting yourself. Somebody, there's questions. What does being a goddess means to you? Somebody asked me what's my Patreon. It's some development, so but it'll be back up. But shout out to Philip. Thank you for staying with me. But this month, tomorrow for sure, I'm deep diving into Patreon. But again, if you can help me, help set that up, or have a little insight on Patreon, you can email me, blackstormrob@gmail.com. What does being a goddess mean to you? What being a goddess means to me is a woman that has wisdom. That's what being a goddess means to me. A woman that's wise, that can say, baby, you know what I'm saying? You might be spending a little too much money. Let's put it in this. Or, baby, okay, you got this bonus. Let's put it in this blockchain, right? Or this Ethereum. Or, baby, look, I saw this opportunity, man. There's this building on the block. It looks like something we might be able to work on. How's your credit? Or, boom, how can we work to fix our credit? Or, maybe use my credit, or I use your credit to get something. Also, how do you so that's what a goddess means to me. And a goddess is someone that is constantly, as I am, working on spiritual development, spiritual and personal development, because I don't live in a fantasy world where everything is just, I'm just going to get everything through doing spells and rituals. I know the spell and ritual first starts here, then starts with these hands, right? And anything that I use as an external tool to affect reality, right, is a result of this first and foremost. And if the world explodes and I have no tools, me and her both know that we still going to make magic happen with this, through that Hathor energy, that energizing our third eye, through visualization, through repetition, right, through affirmation, through visualization. So that's a goddess. And also someone that is primarily peaceful and a great communicator. Someone who communicates, who doesn't just have a mood and I don't know what the fuck is going on and this shit is consistent. It can happen 1 or 2 times, so we all go through it. We have moods, we don't want to talk. But if that shit is every time that something happens, that's not goddess energy to me, because I don't know what's going on. So how can I help? And if I can't help, how can we be at peace if you're stressed out? How can we move forward as a unit? Because now you're stressed, so I'm stressed. So it's about peace. It's about no drama. I'm not fighting, things like that. So that's what that means to me. There were some other questions. Do I use crystals and do I recommend any at this time? Yes, I use crystals. I have crystals on right now. This one is Moldavite. Moldavite is actually a good crystal around this time, particularly because this is the time, the Leo season of pride. And even going into the winter, because Moldavite is a stone that came from outer space, so it's very highly vibrational. Like I let my daughter hold this ring, and she was like, "Whoa," you know what I'm saying? And she's seen me with crystals before, but I wanted her to feel Moldavite, right? And as soon as I put it in her hand, she was like, "Whoa," you know. So it's a very high resonant, high frequency crystal. I know a brother who makes these rings, makes jewelries, makes pendants with these. If you're interested, again, gold on my channel, look at some of my old videos, you'll see my email, blackstormrob@gmail, email me. Also, again, if you know Patreon, if you're good with Patreon and you have some time sometime tomorrow, please let me know. I will sit down and discuss it. I promise I won't take too much of your time. I just want some insight on it. Oh, I appreciate that. But if you want to know where I got the crystals or where you can get the moldavite, I'll send you to somebody reputable, not expensive at all, very affordable. Um, what's a good book to read regarding where we came from? You said serious, right? Yeah. Oh, yes. A good book to read about that. This is by my brother A. Rashid. Um, shit, about to knock down my lamp. This is by the homie A. Rashid. It's an expensive book, but but honestly, hold on. We ain't gonna have no light. But honestly, and this is something, if you follow Black Magic 363, that the pillar's been talking about, blue pill specifically, Dog Star Hip Hop, and he goes into serious in detail. Now this book, it's not the easiest to read. It's not the easiest to read, but it is something that you could look into. And it's a very good book. Let me just read this part real quick. It says the design denotes the purpose of the word and can be used to conceal mystical motivations. Magic does not work from revealing one's intentions on social networks and open streams of human perception. Okay? Telling us what you will do will not make it manifest. Drawing what you desire has a better result. Even writing one's intentions down on paper can produce faster results than simply speaking them to humans' ears. Humans will redirect the current of your intention and spiritual aspirations if you inform them of every detail of your spiritual manifestation. Okay? And it's funny, I just opened it to this, but this is some Leo and full moon Aquarius type shit right here. All right. But this is a good book, Dog Star Hip Hop. And the Dog Star is serious. But there are other books out there about Sirius. And you just want to look into the Dogon tribe. Honestly, you don't really even need to get a book. You could just start Googling Sirius, right? And look for there's many black authors who have blogs and have different things out there. Again, I'm not trying to get you to waste all your money buying books. The internet has a shit ton of information, and you could even type in Sirius, and there's plenty of videos by noted black scholars, C. Freemanel, Bobby Hemmett, where they go into it, right? But there's also a lot of articles if you're a reader and like to learn, where you could do that as well. Okay, so the readers, they got their information from someone just like I did. But this is a good book on that. Let's see, somebody else had a question. I'm gonna go this hour and a half. I'm gonna stop it. Somebody else had a question. Let's see. How can someone change their negative rhetoric in regards to? You're very welcome. How can someone change their negative rhetoric? Yes, Talal. A lot of free PDFs out there as well. If you're in the building, please hit like, please share, please subscribe. And all right. How can someone change their negative rhetoric regarding people who operate in black? Well, first of all, you can't change anyone's rhetoric. Everyone has their own path to follow. We have to remember, all of us that are incarnated here weren't incarnated from the same purpose. Some people are here on this planet to reincarnate again, and they're just here to be like Sims. They're just here to be background players in your video game. They're just here to be background players in your video game. Like a lot of people that are just five, right? They're just here to be background players in your video game. Just like playing Grand Theft Auto or something like that. So you can't change anyone else in life. That's a thing you shouldn't even strive to do. What you can do is change yourself. And once you change yourself and change your own rhetoric, and the way you change your own rhetoric is by programming the subconscious. There's a video by KRS-One where KRS-One says, he holds up a sign and he says, say the word rock star. He's holding up a sign for Rockstar energy drink. And we can do this now together. So say the word rock star without opening your mouth. Now he asks, who is that voice? That's the God in you. That is the key to the God in you. Once you start to program that voice in your head and that voice starts talking back to you positively, now you got something. Now you can say, I'm dealing with enlightenment. And once this happens on a repetitive basis, even during your trials and tribulations, and that voice in your head starts bringing you, relighting you, reigniting you, so to speak, even though you're down, even though shit around you might be crumbling, even though you're going through negative spaces, and you constantly are programming that voice to work for you, watch how quick you get out of that negative situation. Watch how quick that negative situation starts to turn around for you. Watch how quick the miracles start, the quote unquote miracles start to happen in your life. So that's how you program your own mind. And it takes repetition. It takes daily repetition. And it takes, as they say, taking in the right amount of foods. We're nothing but trees. So what type of water, how are you watering yourself? Well, water has to do with communication, right? Water has to do with communication. Water has to do with flow. So how are you watering yourself? What type of things are you taking in? When you go on your YouTube is going to tell you once you log on what you like, because they're going to have a whole list of videos that pop off that is suggested for you. So just look at your YouTube. What are you watching on a repetitive basis? What are the things that you're reading on a repetitive basis? What are the things who are the people that you follow on Instagram, on Facebook, on social media? What type of people are you hanging around with on a consistent basis? That's your light. The people that you hang with, that is your light. That's your sun. We're nothing but big ass but human trees. Chlorophyll and melanin work the same way. Convert light to energy. Look up, study chlorophyll. It'll take you less than 5 minutes to understand what chlorophyll does. That's why drinking chlorophyll is very powerful in order to transmute and change energy. And the main thing that you want to start working on for that negative voice is you want to start working on, and this is something personally, I really don't tell you, but for the first time I'll tell y'all this. This is personally what I do. Is I try to work on something in my childhood every full moon. Even if I'm asking for something. Even if I want something or request something mundane or from the physical perspective. I try to work on something through my childhood or transmute something or some trauma that happened in my childhood or my youth or in my past. And how I transmute that is just change the scenery. I just change the light around it. I turn, as Michael Jordan, since Pops told him, I turn negatives into positives. It worked for Michael Jordan on a mundane level, successfully, right? Donald Trump, the one y'all hate, you can learn from him too. His pastor that he grew up with created a book called The Power of Positive Thinking. This is why when you hear Trump talk, you never hear Trump say anything negative. Even if he's totally 100% to the millionth time wrong, lying, misquoting, he never admits that he's wrong. He always thinks positive. Now, that's the extreme, right? That's the extreme of it. That's going way, way left. But there is some science to the repetition of positive thought, positive visualization. There is power to that, right? And let's see, what's a good book on transmuting, on transforming? Bear with me. Most of my books are over here. So this particular book is called Inner Work by Robert Johnson. I take the covers off my books if they're plastic, but this is called Inner Work by Robert Johnson. Very good book to get into, to deep dive. And also any type of books that you feel called to. Again, I don't always recommend books because what book might work for me may not. Again, this is an individual process. So what book might work for you, for me, may not work for you. It may just be sitting on your table collecting dust. It may just be a nice, placeholder for your cups, right? A lot of people have books that they never touch, but they look very good on the bookshelf. So when you get a book, you want to start reading the book. I'm not saying you're going to read the whole book. And also, you don't have to read a book cover to cover when you get a book. You could read books, 1, 2, 3 chapters, right, and get what you need out of the book and get out of it. You don't have to read the whole book cover to cover unless you want to. It's all about what you need and what's going to benefit you. And go to books that you're called for, not just books that are recommended. You can get books that are recommended for things, but get books that you feel called to. I'm not you and you're not me. All right, you're not Bobby Hemmett. I don't care how many books Bobby gives you. I don't care how many books this brother gives you. I don't care how many books anybody tells you to get. You're not them. That book may not resonate with you. That particular teaching may not resonate with you. So you want to go to things that resonate with you. And how you know it resonates with you is, how does it make you feel? When you look at the book, do you feel light? Do you feel like, shit, I'm going to get some light from this book? Do you feel energized? Do you feel charged up? Are you excited to see to see when that book comes in 2 days from Amazon Prime, right? That's how you know that's how you know that's the book for you. If you just get in a book because somebody told you, you're like, oh, let me get it. Somebody told me, recommended it. It seems like a good thing to get. Don't get it. You're wasting your money. Let's see. I ask because I tend to get caught up in the rhetoric when I'm faced with those that aren't willing. Oh, shit, hold on. Willing to see their own lack. I'm learning to speak life over them, rather than pointing out their lack. Yeah, yeah. That's what we do as gods. You know what I'm saying? We speak life over people. You know, somebody called me the other day about, I'm not going to mention their name, but somebody called me the other day and they were in a situation, a domestic situation, and I'm talking to them. But if you call Rob Blackstorm with an issue, Rob Blackstorm has solutions, right? I'm going to try to come up with solutions for the situation. I'm not really the person to vent to. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really the person to vent to, because I'm going to try to find. Now, if you're my significant other, I probably will let you vent. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you, and it's different. We have an intimate relationship. So if you come home, like, come from work or from the business, it's overwhelming. You just got together. We are working on solutions together. If you're my mate, right, we're working on solutions together. But if you are just a random person that's calling me or reaching out to me, I am going to try to provide solutions to your problems. That's my purpose, to help raise the vibration of the planet. So I talked to them, I was providing solutions, and then the audacity of this person who called me out of nowhere, then they posted a meme saying, oh, which was directed at me, subliminal, but it's cool. And they posted a meme saying, sometimes I want to vent. I don't want advice. I just want to vent. So why the fuck you call me and you didn't call your homegirl, right? But it's neither here or there. So I'm saying all that to say that speak life over people that are in your vicinity. Don't let them just be floundering around you. And if they are floundering around you, then maybe those people are people that you need to separate from. If they're consistently floundering around you, because you also don't want to be, as the Bible says, throwing pearls to swine. That's a waste of your time. That's a waste not only of your time, which you can't get back, but it's a waste of your energy. It's a waste of your energy. So why would you do that? So definitely speak life into people, but make sure they are receptive. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be pouring your water, your wisdom, into a cracked glass, into a glass that's already broken. Let's see, any other questions? No. All right. Peace to everybody in the chat room. Thank you guys for coming out. Again, if this made sense, if this helped you, currency exchange is important. $ Rob Blackstorm 7, $Rob Blackstorm 7, $ Rob Blackstorm 7 to donate. I'm doing an elemental magic class. There'll be a recorded video that I recorded today that'll be out tomorrow. I'll show you guys the reviews for people who have taken the elemental magic class. Great class. What I do is I focus on your sun and your moon first, and then we basically go into the other two elements. So whether you're a sun sign, you're an earth sign, we go into how to maximize different magical And it's also a class that you have to do your own homework to deep dive further. But I give you the tools so that you know how to maximize the magic. And that's where I really kind of go into specific spell work and ritual work and how you could actually actualize these through magic. So you can hit me up for that class. It's not free. It's $101, but it is 5 weeks. So it's less than $20 a class. The classes are an hour. And again, the video that I recorded today that I'll drop tomorrow, it will have the reviews on there. If you're interested, you can email me at blackstormrob@gmail.com, blackstormrob@gmail.com. And of course, if you want to support, $ Rob Blackstorm7, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. Thank you guys for spending your time with me tonight. I consider you guys my soul family. And I love and appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. Let's keep grinding. Let's keep shining. Let's keep glowing. Tomorrow I might go live again just to give y'all, I might go live just to give y'all a spell tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Give y'all some spell work. So you might see me in the morning around 11 a.m. just to give y'all some spell work, something y'all can work on. That's very simple but effective. So I might do that for y'all tomorrow. Maybe. Let's see how I feel after I meditate tonight and wake up. But until then, peace, power, prosperity. Rob Blackstorm. Keep shining, y'all. Have a great night and have a great week ahead.